Hello and welcome to Wisdom Bites. Hope you're well. Thank you once again for joining us. Very much appreciated. And in today's video, I'm going to show you a shocking sign, and it's not embedded in the Bitcoin price. I'll also go through the Bitcoin miners report to show us exactly where we're at in our Bitcoin miners portfolio that we started 2 weeks ago. So if that sounds interesting, without further ado, get yourself a cup of tea, sit yourself down, eyes on the screen, and let's get cracking. And as usual, the polite reminder, please remember everything in my videos is just for educational purposes. Please do not take anything as financial advice. You must do your wider research before you make any investment decisions. So what is the shocking truth? What is the warning to the bears? What is the hidden bull market sign that we're seeing? And it's not in the Bitcoin price. And here it is. Those people with a discerning eye may just have worked out where these arrows are leading. Has anyone noticed what these arrows are actually pointing down to? Just have a quick look for a second or two. Okay, let me put you out of your misery. These arrows, as you know, we do candlestick patterns here. And we know that the outside bar candle at the top of a trend is usually bearish. And that means that there's pressure to the downside. And look what's been happening ever since we topped out here at just under 115 on the dollar. So we got this outside bar candle. This tells you straight away that there is a high degree of probability that we're going to go down. And what we've had in this market in the last few months is a series of them. And every time we have one, it brings the price down for a dollar. Look at this. Every time. Now this was a bullish one, this one here, the green candle, and it actually pushed it up. So you can see it really works. This one again, bearish sign, we go down. Another bearish sign, we go down. Another outside bar candle, we go down. Another outside bar candle, we go down, etc. And we've just had another one on the daily chart here, as you can see, and we're going right down to this support line here. And of course, nobody's picked this up because not many people look at candlestick patterns. But as you can see quite clearly, these patterns have worked right down to the current levels that we've got here. And if we zoom out, we can see quite clearly where this is leading to. This is our target for the end of this year, around about the 95, 96 level here, which is a support from these levels here and these support levels down here. As I'm sure you're aware, the dollar has an inverse relationship with the markets. So if this is coming down, then we are, for all intents and purposes, going to be going up with Bitcoin and the Dow Jones and the wider markets. So this is really a very good sign that we've got really something very good to look forward to in 2023. A quick look on the weekly chart. This was the outside bar candle. That was a great sign that we were topping out down here. And also, as I mentioned in many videos now, this gravestone doji candle that we got on the dollar, when I said to you that we've now topped out, this was a confirmation here that we topped out on the dollar and that this was the forthcoming price action for the dollar on its way down here. And if you've noticed, we've got another gravestone doji candle here. Some people call this a shooting star, but you can call it whatever you like. All it is a rejection of higher prices. And again, there's a pressure to the downside here. So it's all looking good on the dollar front, very weak. And I would suggest that we're in a weak trend for the dollar for the next 3 years. Of course, we're going to get our ups and downs along the way, but the trajectory is down. Okay, a quick look at the 60-day cycle, exactly where we're at. And I want to take you back to the previous cycle because there's something very similar happening over here which actually happened down here. So we ended the previous cycle on day 63. And the 30-day cycle midpoint was around about the 9th of December here. And it looked like we topped out on this candle. Now you may have actually noticed something about this candle. If you've been paying attention in this video, you'll know what this candle is. Yes, it's an outside bar candle. So we had a run up here. And then we got this outside bar candle, which is of course bearish. And that would have suggested that we're going to come down here. And yes, we actually closed below that candle. So that may well have played out here. Certainly because it happened before the 30-day cycle, we thought that we're going to have a left translated cycle, which is obviously bearish. And when we've just had this FTX scandal waterfall in the Bitcoin price, we thought we're going to go much further down. However, one of the reasons why I started to say to you that this is now looking bullish if this doesn't go down, is simply because when we went past the 30-day cycle midpoint here, and instead of coming down, we actually made a new high over here, which converted this cycle from a left translated cycle to a right translated cycle. And this was one of the first signs I picked up, and I mentioned these in the videos if you've been watching them, that this looks very, very bullish, that we've now got fewer days to come down here, and that if we could make a higher low before the end of the 60 days, then that would be very, very bullish. And this is exactly what happened. We came up here and went on this massive rally that we've just had now. Now, the interesting thing is that this candle here, which gave us the impression that we're going to top out before the mid-cycle and give it a left translated cycle, actually led to this over here. Now, similarly, we've come here and we've now got an outside bar candle here, which we got on Wednesday. That was 2 days ago. And that seems to be playing out. And it may well be that because of this outside bar candle, we may close below this level here, which is the low point of this candle at 20,370. And the reason why this may well play out a little bit in the short term is that on the CME futures market, we've got a CME gap developing over here. So when we closed last Friday at 19,995, the Tuesday price for Bitcoin went up much higher than the Friday close here, and that caused the gap. And we know with CME gaps, they have a high degree of probability to fill. The question is, will it fill now or will it fill once it goes much higher? So that's the real question really here. But there is a good probability that we may come back down to the 19,995 as a result of this outside bar candle here. But the volume on this candle wasn't very much considering what had happened before. So the lack of the volume may well mean that it plays out to the upside rather than the downside. But certainly the bias is to the downside here. And it may well be that we come down to the 19,995, fill the CME futures gap before we go back up here. So while this is looking like a left translated cycle, this is the midpoint of this current cycle that we're on, which finishes on the 29th of January. Certainly if we do this from here, then we'll have topped out before the 30-day period here. And that's usually very bearish, especially when we've just come out of a very big rally here. So because of this rally, I would say that on the whole, this is just a minor correction before we move into the midpoint and create another higher high from this point here at around about 22,800. Or if we have a really strong push up, we could even go to the 25 before we come into the end of the cycle low here, around about the end of February. So let's see what happens with that. Very, very interesting developments going on in the charts. Moving on to the Bitcoin miners, a quick look at the charts of exactly where they're at the moment. As you can see, we had a mixed day yesterday. So these are the close of prices yesterday with a few highlights. Greenwich here had a really good day at 14%. Bitfarms another good day at 13%. Core Scientific another good day at 11%. And Marathon had a reasonable day at 6%. There were obviously some red ones here as well, notably TerraWolf and Cypher at 6 and 7%. So a bit of a mixed bag. It's brought the miners portfolio down a little bit. So I've transferred the prices onto our current miners portfolio here. Please remember we started with £100,000 capital here, and then the target is $1 million by the end of 2023. And currently we're running at 54% in 2 weeks, and that's the running total is about £154,000 from our starting capital of 100,000. So let's see where we get at, but this is the updated table here. Please let me know in the comments below exactly if you're following this Bitcoin miners portfolio here and if you're finding this interesting. Okay, so we'll leave it there. I hope you found value in the video, and if you did, then please do remember to like and subscribe and to turn on the notification bell. And if you have any comments, questions or suggestions, leave them in the comments below. Until the next time, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.